Yeah, I just wanted to run through our Skijoring timing system one more time here. Look at the spreadsheet itself, where all the times come in and where we keep track of the races, as well as some of the components and how they're all tied together. Basically, we've got a spreadsheet, Google Sheet set up on a computer that'll be up in the crow's nest. Crow's nest is going to be right in front of the finish gate. So we are hardwired into the finish gate, which I'll get to in a minute. And then we're also hardwired into this receiving unit for the starting gate, as well as plugged into power for both the receiver on that wireless unit and the computer. Let's go over to the starting gate. The starting gate will be, 700-800 feet away. Basically, the stands, the gate itself can be spread apart. Right now it's fully collapsed. So there's only about 3.5 feet between the two sides of this infrared unit. We can pull those apart so there's about 7 feet between the two, give the skiers a good runway to take off from. Basically, I'll just walk through here. So that tripped the beam and sent a signal back to the crow's nest. That sound you heard, you won't be able to hear that if you're down at the starting gate, but you'll have this red light on the infrared transmitter side that'll stay solid for a second. It blinks slow for a minute and then flashes. And that is kind of the reset cycle that it'll go through in between every race. Basically, you get a race started, you'll see the red light, and if you're working at the starting gate, make sure you're watching for that. You won't be able to hear that beep, so the only feedback you have that you actually got a good starting signal on this was the solid red light, and then watch for it to blink and then flash, and that'll show you that it's gone through the reset cycle. So we'll go back to the crow's nest, take a look at the spreadsheet, just to make sure we got that signal input. And there you go, you've got the start triggered with a timestamp on it. That's not the race time, that's just a timestamp for the start. We'll go over here to the finish gates. Again, this is hardwired in, so you've got a control signal going back to the crow's nest, and will be plugged into power as well. Should mention that starting gate is powered by some solar panels. This will be plugged in with an extension cord. Kind of the same setup on the gates themselves. These can be pulled apart. Right now they're fully collapsed. And I did build these 24 inches tall, but one thing we've talked about and that I'm going to do before race day is cut these things down, zip them off basically at that crossbar, mount the reflector below that crossbar, so by the time you get this thing covered up with a little bit of snow, maybe it only sticks up 6 to 8 inches. But either way, this side of it with the reflector is going to have to be out in the track between the racer and the rider. We'll put a few hay bales around it, make sure we get it nice and protected, but with the equipment we have, there's really no way to avoid that. We need that reflector to be out in the middle somewhere. The beam itself, this side of it, can be pulled back quite a ways. I think the range on this between that infrared beam and the reflector is up to 30-35 feet, so the left side of this could be way off the track. And again, we'll just cut this side down and protect it with some hay bales or some snow and make sure it's not a hazard to the race. But yeah, this is the finish gate. So let me just wave my hand through here and break this beam. And go back to the computer and see what we got. And you got it. That race time was 1:78, 7:38 for race 1. Let's run through a little faster here for race 2. Go back over the starting gate. Run through it. And go back over to the finish gate, break this beam, for a total time on race 2 of 11.924. How about one more time? Just for good measure, make sure this is repeatable. Hell, I've been doing this all night, having fun with it, nerding out on a Saturday night. And race 3, we have a time of 11.295 for race 3. And that's how we're going to do it. Hope it works.